he's taking a step away from music. I will offer the chance for him to come on to our podcast and explain. Just explain his side. I haven't heard anything from him. If he wants to come on and explain, and he can explain all of the NDAs that he sent out before, that's the stipulation. He has to explain every NDA that he sent out to I don't care about like fucking like people that worked with him. I mean, I do if it was bad enough, but I mean like the NDAs of women he dated. I also will open it up to, and I bet Brianna Chickenfry is going to do this. So like, this isn't as important for those women because I bet she'll give them a platform, or at least help in that, area.
She can't because they have NDAs, but I see what you're saying.
But yes, well, if you want to come break your NDA on this podcast, then come on. Hey, buddy.
How goes it?
Oh, it's going.
Have you seen what's gone on with ZB and Bree?
I have. For those who don't know what's going on, I actually have brought a video today.
Perfect.
To explain it, better than we would, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. But I mean, like
we'll try to explain it after someone else explains it better than we will.
Yeah. So we'll talk about it afterwards. So here.
Deb, Zach Bryan's ex from right before he started dating Brianna Chickenfry, has entered the chat, you guys. She posted something on social media last night, the same night that the BFFs dropped the Zach Bryan breakup podcast. And if you don't think her post is related to that, then you're definitely wrong because it's as clear as day. Let's get into it. So Deb dated Zach Bryan right before he started dating Brianna Chickenfry. And when I say right before, I mean they broke up maybe a month before him and Brianna started dating. Some people think the timeline is even closer. After the breakup, we heard nothing from Deb about Zach Bryan. And now we might know why, because Brianna Chickenfry was offered $12 million to sign an NDA so that she couldn't talk about her relationship with Zach Bryan. She alluded to the fact that Zach Bryan's previous exes were offered the same thing and took the money. So even though Deb might not legally be able to talk about what happened between her and Zach, she can post things like this.
I didn't get the lyrics on that last part, but she was drinking and she looked happy. So,
yeah. So, from my understanding, and like a lot of this, let me see if I can also pull up like an article or something. Brianna Chickenfry.
I have no idea on how she got that, like the nickname Chickenfry.
We can figure that out as we go. What's going on? Okay, here, this is the cut. So weeks after their contentious breakup, Brianna Chickenfry, so Brianna LaPaglia, is like her like legal name. Chickenfry, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, fucking hold on to your seats, is not her legal name.
LaPaglia sounds like I would not want to meet her dad.
LaPaglia.
Yeah, just
like he's got ties to he has ties to the crime families in New York. So I believe she's from Boston.
From Boston.
Oh. She's from Boston. You park the car in Harvard Yard, you know what I'm saying? So she's accused country singer Zach Bryan of emotional abuse throughout their year-long relationship on Thursday's episode. Okay, before we go any further with this, I'd like to think about this. This is a year-long relationship. They were together for a singular year. If I was with somebody for a year, and granted, I've moved in with somebody under a year before, and obviously I'm not with that person. I don't recommend that to anybody. Like moving in prior to being together for a year. It works for some, but I do think it's an expedited, like if you guys are going to break up at some point, that is an expedited route to break up. Because you like figure out like, oh, fucking living with this person's like a nightmare. Like it's all shit that fucking happens quicker.
Yeah, I mean, you get to know them a lot quicker.
A lot quicker. You're like, oh, this person just fucking like wears the same socks for like a month. They like are you the kind of person that just grabs something out of the closet, or you kind of like grab something off the floor and smells it first before you like wear it out? And like, you know what I mean? And those are the questions that we're here to fucking find out for you.
Amen. Yep.
So we should do that. We should do an episode where like people can like submit like their significant other to be interviewed on this podcast just to find out like all their gross habits. Like before moving in, like we should do an interview process and then we can release the episodes. Comment below if you guys think that would be a good idea or fun if you would like that. This is on YouTube. I'm assuming you're watching this. So go ahead and comment below. Be like, that would be so sick if you guys did that. Oh my God, I would like lose my mind. Blah. Anyway, so back to the Zach Bryan thing. So she accused Brianna Chickenfry is what she's known as. I'm going to refer to her as that for the rest of the episode, not her legal name.
Mrs. Chickenfinger.
Ms. They're not married.
Ms. Right.
Has accused Mr. Bryan of emotional abuse throughout their year-long relationship. Again, I do feel like celebrities do this a lot where like they'll like start dating and then within 3 months they're living together. Mm-hmm. And then because I mean they have like just crazy amounts of money also. So like they're like, fuck it, I'll like divorce and buy my own, like just move out and buy shit. You know what I mean? Like it's so much cheaper for them in like the grand scheme of things. They're like, what's it gonna cost? Like fucking $500,000 to like do all the things that like just recreate my life somewhere else.
Yep.
Fine, whatever. Like, here's a check.
Yep.
So I think that's insane already. I would love to be at that point in my life where I could just move in with people willy-nilly and be like, fuck them, I hate this person. No, break the lease, pay the fucking $8,000 to break a lease and like all that shit. So on this Thursday's episode of the BFFs podcast, the Barstool podcasters told co-hosts Dave Portnoy and Josh Richards that she had endured the hardest year of her life dealing with the abuse from this dude. She then allegedly she then alleged that he had a habit of handing out NDAs to the women he dated, claiming he offered her $12 million and a New York apartment in exchange for her silence about their relationship. I'm still scared right now because I'm scared of him, she said. My brain's rewired and I'm scared to make him mad. That's terrifying because if you don't like, I brought this up to a friend of mine the other day and she was like, I don't know who Zach Bryan is. So if you don't know who Zach Bryan is, he was pretty much on track to be one of the greatest like songwriters and country music artists like of the generation.
Yeah, I would say his
lyrics,
for our generation.
Yes.
He was Mount Rushmore of alive songwriters. Like
his lyrics are just good.
I mean, and his story was authentic. You know, he's in the Navy. Oh my God, his YouTube song went viral. The first one, holy crap! I can't believe I can't remember it.
But like, can we pause real quick and think about something? He's so great, so talented. I don't want to say great. I don't want to say like great because like obviously this is a really shitty thing that he did. If he was allegedly emotional, I don't know his side. I don't think he's spoken up about it. But he is if he's that great of a singer-songwriter, lyricist, think about the like Albert Einsteins of the world. Or like even Elon Musk's. Elon Musk gets a lot of backlash for things he does. Zuckerberg is like a fucking robot. Like he's a weird dude. Like these people who operate at a different level are weird fucking people when you break it down. You know what I mean? Like they're fucking weirdos. They're into weird shit. Like I mean, like I don't know like their sex lives, but I'm like, you know, like we had talked about this previously. Like people who hold like high positions of power in companies like love like the crazy shit in the bedroom. You know what I mean? Because they're like they're making decisions all day. They have the power in every other aspect of their life that they're like, I want to be like fucking like tied down and fucking like have someone put cigarettes out on my chest and piss on me. And you're like, oh, okay, like fucking like whatever your thing is, cool.
Yeah.
Like don't want to yuck anyone's yum. If that's what you're into, that's fine. But I'm just saying, like, they obviously aren't going to be easy to work with people or easy to coexist with. So I'm not giving him an out for his behavior, for his emotional abuse, but I am just saying, like, if someone is operating at that level, then it's obviously going to be a little bit harder to deal with them. Like, yeah, maybe they're not like, maybe they're on the spectrum, maybe they're, whatever. So like if they're on the spectrum, their like social cues and the things that they pick up on are going to be harder to, like, they can't adapt as easily. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it sounds like they make him really sound like a piece of shit in this article. And I don't know him personally. I don't know his side of the story. Personally, I would say I'm pro her in this whole thing.
You're team Brie.
I'm team Brie, yeah.
I mean,
but I really do like her, and I loved his music, by the way. But I have not streamed him in a minute since I've heard about this. And I don't like I don't support anything fucking R. Kelly did, but I'll still listen to Ignition Remix every once in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't that like the only R. Kelly song you do listen to if it does come up?
Yeah, and you're like, you're like, I know he fucking peed on some kids, but like fucking like this fucking song is really good.
I think what you're trying to say about like his brain and who he is at that level is definitely like on the right track. Like, someone is so successful. Like, that's why people say like Tom Brady is weird, because he's kind of a normal human, but his competitiveness is what drives him absolutely apart. I think I was a Zach Bryan stan. I thought, like I said, greatest songwriter of our generation. He was like my number one person I wanted to interview so bad. He had a podcast coming out and then it got taken down because of copyright. Was just super curious and like thought, kind of the American dream, like served the military. Of video went viral of his song. I can't believe I can't. It's literally like his whatever. What the fuck is
something in the orange?
No, I have Fast Car stuck in my head, and it's not Fast Car.
Oh, Hey Driver.
No, not Hey Driver.
I'm gonna say it's like Motorcycle.
Not Motorcycle Drive-By.
Okay. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, am I about to fuck up the name of the song?
That's what I'm saying.
I will say, like, the song Hey Driver is pretty fucking solid. I mean, his music is good. That's what pisses me off about this whole thing. I hate when fucking shit like this happens. And then I'm like, oh, fuck. Another good one. Obviously, I don't know if he's a good person.
He is a amazing songwriter. I haven't been to his concerts. I've heard he's an amazing performer. However, before all this shit went down, I know people in the industry. And I've heard from people in the industry. It's more specifically when he performed in Chicago at a festival that we know and love. His cooperation, his attitude, band drama, not good. Right. Not good. Like,
but I will say, how long until we forgive people? You know what I mean?
Like, that's
like, I don't want to ruin this guy's career because he made it. Because, like, I also do think when you're in a relationship,
heading south.
Really quick, can I finish my thought?
Yep.
So I do think when you date someone and like you have a really shitty relationship with somebody, like sometimes that person brings that shit out of you. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's that mix of people, like those two people together. It's like, yeah, like you can love that person, but like they bring a shittiness out of you that you had never seen before. Yeah. And I mean, not that it sounds like he's sending out NDAs to a lot of ladies.
which is a red flag immediately.
Huge red flag.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, you're like, okay, I mean, if it was like a one-off, like he was really shitty in this one relationship, like a Chris Brown Rihanna thing, where like I don't know if I mean, like, and again, I'm speaking out of turn. I haven't done a bunch of Chris Brown research, but I don't think he was hitting other women the way he hit Rihanna. I have not seen a report of him being like a woman abuser since then. So again, it can be like the Tommy Lee. I don't know if you saw the Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson like biopic like series thing on Hulu. They had like, it was like a retelling of the story. And like there's the scene where she's pregnant and he pushes her. And like, but like they were also on a fuck ton of drugs and partying, and like it was like this passion of like something that actually, this is a big gripe of mine. I feel like MGK and Megan Fox try to recreate that, and they like idolize that kind of like love, which I mean, like weren't
they also into like satanic worship and shit though?
They're in like some weird shit because like they have like the wedding rings that don't come off or whatever because they got like the thorns in them, and
they also broke out though, right?
They're done now, right?
Yeah.
So they obviously probably had to fucking go to like a blacksmith and have that shit like sawed off of their fingers. Because it was like it had like things so like you couldn't pull it off. Like it was like things that like needles that would stick into your finger.
People are weird.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, people are weird.
But yeah. So I mean, of course they broke up. They like literally were like the modern day Pamela Anderson, Tommy Lee.
But all right, back to Zach and
yes. Yeah. But I'm saying, so yes, there is a fine line between like, okay, is this a one-off thing? Like where it was like, okay, they had a bad experience together and like they just weren't a good match and like shit did go sideways, but like it was like a one-time thing. But this kind of sounds like it wasn't a one-time thing. And that's super upsetting.
Did you watch her
I didn't watch the full podcast.
Okay.
You want me to see if I can find it?
No, I listened to it. I listened to it with Logan, and there was just so many instances as to like she was like, yeah, like he broke my phone like multiple times, or she said she was on his tour bus and like just trying to take a nap or something, and he would walk in videotaping her and be like, your friends always videotape me when I'm around, so how does it make you feel? And like just like petty, like weird petty shit that is just obviously bad, obviously awful, but also just like, what are you trying to do in that moment? Yeah. And like obviously at that point he's so emotional he can't think straight. I'm not making excuses for him, and I think it was obviously fucking stupid to do. But like looking back at it, it's like, what are you trying to prove? Or like, what are you trying to do there? And then also the fact that he broke her phone or smashed it once, even, it's just too much. Yeah. Like if I'm in a relationship and I have to get my point across by breaking anything or doing literally anything physical that might resolve in damage to a human or a single object, that's a bad relationship and you need to get out.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Like,
it is
leave. Just leave. If you're not having a good time, just leave.
And yeah, so like I said, I was a Zach Bryan stan, even though I can think of the freaking song that made him huge.
I'm a huge fan of like, I mean, my last relationship ended around the time like Something in the Orange was big and like that shit was coming out. So I'm like, that was like, those were like songs that like would get me through a breakup. You know what I mean? Like that would, like just, I felt like, I'm like, oh, like this guy gets it, like he gets me, he sees me, like that kind of shit that like makes people resonate with a fucking song.
Yeah.
Like I was like, he was just coming out with fucking banger after, I mean, banger I use in a very specific term in this, you know what I mean? Because like they weren't bangers, but they were like it hit. They fucking hit. And it's so sad when you see someone like fall from greatness like this. But I mean, obviously, I'm not saying like have sympathy with him, but again, like how long do we wait until we go, let's not ruin this guy's career over this, but that's, you know what I mean? Like what do we
So
want? Do we
for
want as a
sure.
society to see him bagging groceries for the rest of his life?
I
Or
mean,
do
he
we,
said he was done touring and he's going to go to school in in Paris.
which is such a fucking like I saw someone tweet that and they were like, oh, he was going for his like masters or whatever, or like
Yeah.
going to like, and they were like, oh, he's just like us. Instead of dealing with your problems, you just go back to school. Like you're like, I'll just go fucking get my masters. It's fine. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna deal with anything that's like actually pressing.
So, but like honest question. Okay, so Zach is allegedly, obviously you have to say allegedly now these days to everything. Zach is allegedly under scrutiny for hopefully just verbal abuse of Brie. Hopefully it didn't escalate to anything physical. But under scrutiny of this.
I mean, if he was breaking your phone, that is to some extent physical.
I know, like that's
what
anyways,
worries me about the whole thing.
If everything she said was true and all this is obviously alleged, okay, this is obviously a big stain on who he is as a human, who he is as a person.
Right.
However, Morgan Wallen took a break because he was caught in a video recording, dropping the N-word as clear as day. And you know what that did for his career?
It fucking launched his career.
It kind of fucking helped it. Like, because he took a break from music, and then we dropped that first return album or whatever. He's literally been on the moon since. So yeah. I'm not saying would you rather your artist drop the N-word and insult a human, or would you rather your artist be verbally abusive to women, or at least this woman in this circumstance? And like, it's such a obviously bad bubbles to live in.
Yeah.
But it's like Wallen came back from that. And like, that's a terrible fucking thing. Like, that is a bad thing.
Okay. And like, again, the Morgan Wallen thing happened a while ago, right? So he had said
3 or 4
N-word,
years ago.
but didn't he call his like white friend the N-word?
I don't know. I just remember the video. Like,
I don't, yeah. But I just remember because it was more him. You didn't really see who he was saying it about, or like, but like, I don't think he didn't use it in like a really hateful way. It was the fact that he used it. And like, he shouldn't have used it. I completely agree that he shouldn't have used it. But it's also like, I don't think he's a racist. I think he just had a poor choice of words in what he was saying.
See, so, but like now, but I feel like for that side of Zach Bryan is, I don't think he's a bad person. He was just in a bad relationship. And I think a lot of humanity would be like, no, fuck him. He's a bad person. Like, he did this and that and this. And it doesn't help. It does not help Zach and his team that an entire media empire of Barstool is also after him. Like, Portnoy is after him.
Dragging his fucking name right now.
Portnoy has that bottle of champagne, with ZB on it. And it's just like, and that's not going to go away. Like, that is not just going to fade. That's just going to keep going and going and going. Wow. Yeah. I think that's actually one of his songs.
Going.
I might be thinking of the wrong artist.
Well, going gone is Luke Combs.
Okay, maybe. All right, I confuse those.
Maybe,
but I like, and okay, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you believe in. I don't care where you put your genitalia. If you have your comments turned off on your Instagram, what are you trying to hide? You're hiding something. And guess who has their comments turned off on Instagram? Mr. Zach Bryan.
I love when I see a fucking like really stupid advertisement for a company too, like to where like people would be like, fuck that. Mm-hmm. And they turn off their comments and you're like, you obviously know that this isn't going to work as an advertisement and people would be calling you out. But if you don't have those comments on, you're like, we might sell a few. Mm-hmm. Anyway, with the Zach Bryan, Brianna Chickenfry thing, it's just, it sucks because he's a very talented artist. But again, with all of that talent and like functioning at a different capacity than other people, I do think it comes with this kind of like they're not going to be normal in their everyday life. They're not going to function like a normal
For
person.
sure.
They're not going to their brain is wired differently. It's
Also,
like the
yeah.
Tom Brady thing, all you know, it's a weird thing to watch.
And this isn't an excuse,
No.
but
No.
it's being brought into the picture. He lost his mom when he was young. So he grew up momless, which is obviously a terrible thing.
And like, but that
still,
would
like,
explain his attitude towards women. He didn't have a strong woman role model to, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
but
be
like
in his
that's the
life.
thing. Like it might explain that reasoning,
But it doesn't give an excuse.
yeah, it's not an excuse to.
Yeah.
Like I watched him on Rogan, and you know he sat down for 3 hours, and I gotta be honest, even watching him doing Rogan, he just felt like young, like mentally young, and I think he's 27, 26, like a year, maybe he's around our age.
Is he my age?
But like just the conversation and the way he talked, and
Oh, he's your age.
okay, 28.
Yeah.
And I felt like he felt nervous, which would make sense for your first interview on Rogan, you know, the biggest podcast in the world. But that entire conversation, I mean,
I will
listen,
say
take this with a grain of salt. It's a 28-year-old talking about another 28-year-old, but he sounded a little immature. And then all of this, you know, obviously popped off, and it's like, oh, okay, seems like he is.
I will say if you and I had a love child, it might come out looking like Zach Bryan.
I was Zach Bryan
like,
I was him for
that's what I'm
Halloween.
saying. Like, I'm like, you look like, I mean, you looked really a lot like him in that picture. And like, you're obviously more blonde than me. I mean, I don't know. We're about the same, I guess. But but like the width of his head is like my width of my head. And then like hit your jawline. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just thinking about this right now. This is just, I mean, again, we're very pro Brianna. We're very pro women on this podcast. So that is
we're hashtag Team Bree at this moment. I don't really see that changing.
I don't see that changing like anytime soon at all.
Well, what if Zach comes out and he's like,
here's what I propose. Let's all just stream his music illegally for the next like year and put a pin in that. And then like if he starts to change his ways and become a better person and actually put things into place to where he is working on himself and trying to be a better person, maybe goes on an apology tour, that sort of thing. Then we can start streaming it through like Spotify and Apple Music again. But I think like maybe, I don't know.
Okay, so my 2 cents on I think how like his team is gonna kind of play it out, and almost like if I don't want to say if I was in that position, like what I would encourage. I think he's gonna go dark anyways. I think this was his last tour, no matter what. I think he was going to take a break from music and kind of just a halt from touring. He's always going to write. He's always going to be a songwriter, but I don't think he's going to be a, you know, tour every single year. Like he was handing out $12 million to shut someone up. Like he's doing okay. Yeah. I think a lot of people are like me and you in this situation. We like Zach Bryan. We like country music. Even if you don't, I actually don't.
I mean, here's the thing. Go watch our 35 episodes before this.
That's true. Yeah, we did interview country artists. But
we are huge country music artist fans.
I don't label him as a country artist. A lot of people do.
He's like more folk.
Like Americana. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are like you and I in this situation where, you know, it was a weekend. So it's like, let's fucking blast some tunes. And then like Zach Bryan comes on and you're just like, I'm not feeling it. Next,
no, yeah, he's
like,
not
you know
the
what I
vibe
mean?
for like a day drinking day or like things like that. No.
And I think eventually time heals all wounds. All wounds.
Yes.
Time heals all wounds. Zach Bryan might eventually sound better. But the big curve is, you know, what the songwriter he is. He's going to eventually write about the situation. We don't know what situation, but the situation. So when he drops that, I mean, he just dropped new music, but that there was no way that was like a response. That next album, I think people are going to be fishing for, okay, what song sounds like it's tying into the Bree situation. Like,
Right.
how is that going to turn? And then also, I'm just very curious to see how the whole Barstool thing goes, because eventually there's going to be lawyers involved. And it's shit might hit the fan, but who knows what that looks like.
Well, didn't he I don't know, do just controlling behavior through the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, another thing I propose, and I will offer this right here, right now. Brianna Chickenfry has a podcast. She has a platform to do all this stuff. He's taking a step away from music. I will offer the chance for him to come on to our podcast and explain. Just explain his side. I haven't heard anything from him. If he wants to come on and explain, and he can explain all of the NDAs that he sent out before, that's the stipulation. He has to explain every NDA that he sent out to I don't care about fucking people that worked with him. I mean, I do if it was bad enough, but I mean like the NDAs of women he dated. I also will open it up to, and I bet Brianna Chickenfry is going to do this. So this isn't as important for those women, because I bet she'll give them a platform, or at least help in that, area.
She can't because they have NDAs, but I see what you're saying.
But yes, well, if you want to come break your NDA on this podcast, then come on.
We'll pay your lawyer fees.
I think we can have multiple. I think we can have up to 6 people on stage at a time. We will bring them all on, and they can confront Zach Bryan on this podcast. Should keep sharing this podcast. But Zach Bryan, if you want to come on and explain yourself in a completely civil manner, we are not going to attack you. We won't do anything like that, but we will ask you clarifying questions on the whole situation. We just want to hear your side of things. Again, we are pro Brianna Chickenfry, but
Team Bree.
We are Team Bree all the way. But
I think go ahead.
No. Go ahead. You say it.
If in a magical world where this would happen, I think I would have to, shave my face, do the mustache, wear the coat, and dress just like him. So I think it'd be Zach Bryan kind of interrogating Zach Bryan.
Okay.
And then you can be Brianna Chickenfry.
I don't know if I'm going to do that. I probably will just be me interviewing him on that, and interrogating him. Not even really interviewing, because I don't I could go anywhere and find your. But here's the other thing: we're not a Rogan. We're not a.
That's what you're.
We're not a Barstool.
I think that's what you're trying to do, though. You're Rogan. Obviously interviewed Trump and was like, "I'm here for Kamala too," and trying to work it out with her team as well. That's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to see both sides.
We're just trying to see both sides before everybody, I don't know. I mean, before he ships off to Paris and goes to college to ignore his issues, let's get him on the podcast.
Like the rest of us.
Yeah, like the rest of us would. I'm not saying So there's obviously a human side to him. Let's appeal to that. Come on. There might not be.
Because honestly, when I heard about him, he posts a lot about dogs in the first place. When I heard about him kicking Miss Peach's Portnoy's dog out of his dressing room, we weren't there, don't know the circumstance, but just the generalization of that story, kicking any dog. You're a musician, you're friends with a musician, you hear about that human kicking a dog out of their dressing room. So what, was it the hair? They didn't have a lint brush? What's going on?
I had heard that part through the grapevine. I didn't know that was through his out of his dressing room. I thought it was out of his recording studio. And I was like, well, I guess I could see if the dog was making noise. But if it wasn't the recording studio, if it was just the dressing room, I do find that to be shitty.
And he also had his own. His band is I don't know, probably maybe 10 people max.
Yeah.
And he has his own dressing room, which I kind of get that, but I also kind of don't, because the image they're portraying is they're all bros, they're family. Because I don't know who his band really consists of. I'm sure there's females on there that kick ass. So one big happy family of bandmates. But I don't know, separate dressing rooms. If you, me, and Tyler had a band, legend knows, you never know, it might happen. I don't want my own dressing room.
No,
it's us.
Yeah,
it's
us. The three of us. Yeah,
but does Bruce Springsteen share a dressing room with his band? Does what's her Gwen Stefani share? Like, probably not. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I see that backlash and I kind of understand it, but then I also kind of see it.
But I would see us being more like a Motley Crue sort of sitch where we're all just like fucking like, yeah, whatever. We just need one room.
Yeah. But it's I don't know. It's an interesting situation. I don't know who's on his team. I know where he's signed to, which is Warner. I don't know. It's just the biggest red flag is always those Instagram comments. Once those are off, it's like you're trying to hide something.
That's such a big but I mean the other big red flag is the amount of NDAs that have been like,
yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean? Like the amount of NDAs. Like I don't know. Like I feel like 0 NDAs is a cool number. Like,
yeah.
like, hey, like, yeah, I don't know. I just it almost removes an authentic. Like, what are you hiding? What are you trying to hide that you need to get rid of this information? You know what I mean? Like, it's like if you walked in on someone shredding a bunch of documents like frantically and you were like, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, nothing, don't worry about it. Can you sign this piece of paper real quick? Like
that is probably the biggest red flag, out of the things. Were you able to see Smallest Man, the music video?
I didn't see
song with Portnoy and Josh. His name's Josh Richards.
Richards, yeah.
Okay, I know he's a TikTok guy. I only know about him from the BFF podcast.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I've seen a bunch of like the memes about.
It's pretty funny, and I saw the full thing before I got pulled. Pretty funny. Good lyrics, though they didn't write the lyrics, but I mean, it's fine. It's a diss track.
Here I have it. Here I can share it.
Will it play?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is it.
I said, trust me, cut your pants on fire. Tinder bubble riot, knew you was a liar. A douchebag, you just made a new rival. Pretty soon you gon' need a revival. I said, trust me, cut your pants on fire. Tinder bubble riot, knew you was a liar. You fucked up, it's about to get gory. Go and post it on your Instagram story. Yeah, you say you remember everything. I guess not, cause you forgot about your wedding ring. This ain't a subtweet, I ain't coming subliminal. You're great at being country without the second syllable. My fist plus your face, simple addition. The way you did it wrong, man, it's sickening. I'ma kick your dick in to give you an adult circumcision. Think we in Kentucky where I fry you like some chicken. But you're from okay, well okay if you say so. Kinda ironic cause soon you're getting this KO. You're shorter than me, so sorry if this a low blow. I'm about to turn this place to an Oklahoma smoke show. Hey ZB, why you handing out these SEDs? These girls is itchy in they jeans.
Really quick. This shit goes hard.
That's 3 songs of his they've already referenced, and we're a minute 18 into this 5-minute 20-second song.
Yeah. So far the writing on this is unmatched.
Oh, this
is like a Kendrick Drake diss track.
And they said they made this before Brianna came out and like spoke about everything. So this was all the stuff that they were pulling from was stuff that already happened, already publicly happened.
Oh, okay. So, well, I mean, I was just wondering if she was maybe telling them about this stuff before she went public.
No, this was all before they learned what we learned.
Oh, gotcha.
Because so what happened was Bree was in between taking the 12 million or not, and it sounds like that thought and question as whether or not she should do it, which would be a kind of an easy answer from me. But took a little longer than expected, and she said she was like, yeah, I'll do the 12 million, and then on ZB's side, the lawyers kind of screwed the pooch and took too much time or started, saying, all right, it's only gonna be 10 or like whatever. So it took more time, and then she was like, fuck you, like I'm not taking this $12 million. Once she came to the realization, like, I'm not taking the money, F the money, she texted Dave and Jake, Drake and Josh. Josh, like, fuck ZB, like I'm not taking his money. And then like essentially they were like, all right, like let's do this, like let's make the diss track.
So they okay. So once she was like, fuck this, I'm not taking the 12 million, they released it.
I think like they went to work on it. Like they had this idea and then they went to work on it.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean,
so far, love it so far. So
it's great.
Ask you what you mean. They asking doctors for their expertise. All they say is that gon' make you burn. Gon' need some antifreeze. Rest in peace if you ever try to mess with me. I'm coming at you with more arms than a centipede. Looking for pink skies, but now you're seeing stars. There's something in the orange and it's you behind these bars, bitch.
I would get back in my truck right now if you let me out of these handcuffs.
Well, if
you don't, it's gonna be a mistake, sir. I promise.
Get back in your truck or go to jail. I don't care which.
I'll go to jail. I'm done. I will have.
I said, trust me, caught your pants on fire. Tinder bubble riot, knew you was a liar. A douchebag, you just made a new rival. Pretty soon you gon' need a revival. I said, trust me, caught your pants on fire. Tinder bubble riot, knew you was a liar. Yeah, you fucked up, it's about to get gory. Go and post it on your Instagram story.
Itty bitty Zach, shitty tats, ugly in the face. There's no cure for that. Country singing boss, baby, get that boy a snack. Throw another temper tantrum, it's time for a nap. Think you're on some shit, trying to diss Taylor Swift. Did 100-gram story, apologizing like a bitch. 5'5'6", get some chapstick for those lips. Looking like a little kid, smallest man who ever lived. Lion Zach Bryan, I know all this shit's deep. Bet your right profile said that you were 6 feet. From the looks of all your tweets, I'd say you got a booze problem. Such an alcoholic, alcohol has a you problem. Zach is awake, I know that he's been drinking. That looks like a Lego, hair like Homer Simpson. This is for the women that you cheated and neglected. Music is infectious, your penis is infected. You gave out STDs, and then you start to spiral. Zach, that's not what we mean by going viral. If you meet another girl off an Instagram caption, I hope they know that feelings aren't the only thing they're catching. Little evil face tried to split up Bree and Grace. Your old style's Morgan Wallen, Tyler Childers, copy paste. You think that you're hard? Close but no cigar.
I will say I am still a huge Tyler Childers fan.
He's the man.
He is the best, and I think he's always been better than Zach Bryan, because I found Zach Bryan secondary, like after.
Yeah, he opened the door. He opened the door for artists. I mean, Tyler opened the door for a lot of artists, but I would say Zach Bryan falls under that umbrella for sure.
Yeah, and he definitely followed that like path.
Yeah.
So huge Tyler Childers fan. If you like Zach Bryan, just fucking switch to Tyler Childers, brother. It's so easy. It's like going from American Spirits Yellows to Light Blues. It's fine. They're pretty much the same. But he does look like a Lego. All right, we're continuing.
Whose idea was it to give this Oopa Loopa a guitar? Cheating ass boy, your existence is insult me. You can't even put the adult in adultery. Don't take accountability for anything you did. Can't blame you, just a 30-year-old kid. Never seen someone so scared of what the people say. Would have thought that NDAs were in your DNA. Too drunk for Fenway? Goddamn. Even no one knows you're the real con man. Consider this a warning for the next girl that dates you.
We know for a fact that your whole band hates you.
Thought you had some hot shit, me and Josh frozen.
Always been a loser, now the whole world knows. Said, trust me, caught your pants on fire. Tinder bubble riot, knew you was a liar. A douchebag, you just made a new rival. Pretty soon you gon' need a revival. Said, trust me, caught your pants on fire. Tinder bubble riot, knew you was a liar. Yeah, you fucked up, it's about to get gory. Go and post it on your Instagram story. I mean, we should have known first signs. Who picks Kanye over Taylor?
He's 5'2". Man's 5'2". He kicked peaches on the dresser.
Smallest man who ever lived. You already know we're smoking on that ZB hat all night long.
72 hats, still bald as fuck.
Needs to go fix his hairline, send him to turkey head ass.
How lucky is Bree to be free of ZB and his STDs? Oh, how lucky is Bree to be free of ZB and his STDs? Oh.
So they used 6 of his songs in the lyrics, and then mocked a 7th, obviously at the end. And I think the song they mocked was, I mean, it came out when Brie and him were dating, so it sounded like when he put it out, like the song of that story was about the relationship. So
Which song was that one?
I gotta sing it. I gotta sing it to remember it. Yeah, like you. Still can't get it. But it goes, how lucky are we? It's been a hell of a week. We're all grown now.
28.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, like, as a diss track, I mean, that thing
fucking went hard.
it was hard. But, and here's the thing that I love that they essentially called out on the diss track. Zach, before all this shit happened, went online and would apologize for everything. Like, just trying to please everyone and every crowd. Like, even if it was the smallest thing, it's just like, dude, who cares? Like, stop caring about, like, you aren't at this point, like, you are an icon right now. Like, you are on top of the industry. You were killing it. Stop apologizing for these little fucking small gimmicks. Like, you like somewhere like one. Like, you didn't walk around saying some fucking slur. But obviously this is different, and he's going to be quiet on socials. I feel like, would imagine, at least that's what his team is telling him. But
Barstool actually comes out with a lot of fire content, like specifically this diss track,
and
then I forget which one interviewed him. It was the two. What is it, like Lenny Balls, or what's his name?
Was it the Sunday show
with Morgan Wallen?
Yeah, Glenny and
Glenny. I called him Lenny. Glenny Balls and
Caleb Preston.
Caleb. Okay. And during the interview, he pulls out his card and he goes, "This is my favorite card. I call it my Morgan Wallen card." And he goes, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's canceled, but for some reason it still works." And for that, like, forever, like, Caleb is top tier in my mind.
I mean, his brain when it comes to comedy is insane.
Unmatched.
Yeah, it's insane.
No one like him. All right. Well, I mean,
did we just do an episode on one fucking subject?
That was literally one entire subject. And again, this is not our story to tell. So, like, don't take everything we said as the end all be all. Definitely do your own research, make your own decisions.
I disagree. This is scripture. Write it down. Bury it in your backyard.
Yeah, someone engraved this shit. We definitely watched the full episode. I have to go finish the episode. I saw clips from it. I didn't watch the full episode. But yes, it is we are Team Brie all the way. I mean, how could you not? I mean, she seems so fun, you know what I mean, to be around, like, in this, like, and it seems like he really, like, this relationship really took a toll on her, and it broke her down to, like, be not her. And I don't think that that's cool to do to somebody, to take, someone with, like, such a, like, a beautiful heart to then kind of break them down to be like a shell of what
you just think she's a babe.
No, I mean, yeah, she is. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying, like, someone who just seems like a cool person to then turn them into a shell of that. You know what I mean? I don't think that that's cool, because I've seen that happen to friends of mine in relationships that, like, and it's hard when you're close to a friend that's in a relationship like that and you go, you can't really say anything because you're like, well, what if they get back together? What if they, you know what I mean? You don't really want to weigh in on that. But I mean, I feel like I've been in relationships that have done that to me. And then you kind of have to spend the next year recovering from that, or, you know, however long that takes, however that long, like, and that's not an easy toll for anyone. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So you know, we are Team Bree.
We are a positive relationship podcast. However, Zach, if you want to come and explain yourself, like I said, it'll be ZB interviewing ZB, and then Jackson will be in the corner as dressed as Bree.
I won't be dressed as Bree.
As a chicken tender. You'll be a chicken tender.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to be a chicken tender. I'm not thin enough to be a chicken fry.
Should you be a chicken nugget?
I could be a chicken nugget, yeah. But yeah, just so it's disappointing. And another thing for if Zach Bryan does come on, we will not go easy on him. We will not let him off the hook with those things. So keep that in mind, Zach. But we won't attack you. We will hear you out, but we might not agree with you.
Probably
so.
And we might also probably sing your lyrics in the incorrect tune and verbiage as well.
Yeah, and we'll just hold you hostage while we do it.
Yeah.
That's your punishment. You have to listen to us sing your songs.
This is what
poorly,
you get
like intentionally bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And like this, you know, this is what you get for kicking a dog out. This is what you get for everything that happened with Bree.
Yeah, treating women poorly for the women before. Come on the show. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, it'd be a good time.
On that note, I mean, I think this podcast needed to be the entire episode.
I know we don't do that usually.
We don't. We normally have at least like 3 different like topics with subtopics, but
also just in general, our brains go from beep boop 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 beep beep boop 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 boop. Oh,
this is the one time I've seen us so locked in on one topic though, and I'm very happy because I do think that this needed to, like, you know, I know that like Barstool is dragging his name right now, and they have a bunch of content out about it. Articles and all that stuff, but it doesn't hurt to have more content out there.
Yeah, and also I'm like, I wouldn't label us as, because so Dave called the BFF podcast like a gossip podcast. I wouldn't label us as gossipers. I don't care about. I mean, obviously, this is coming after we spent 56 minutes talking about other humans' lives, but I really don't care about what other people do in their lives. I'm only talking about it because he was my favorite artist, and I'm around the industry. And
watching an artist like that fall from grace, I do think is something. So, like, if anything, we're like current events / hot takes podcast. Plus,
what's the hottest take? Helen Keller's a fraud.
Yeah, I guess that was our hottest take.
Even though we both declined it, and at the end of the day, we said she wasn't.
Well, I did say that she was, but I don't want to get off topic on this episode, but I go watch it. I did say I don't think she was a fraud. I think Ann Sullivan was maybe more of the fraud in that, and I do think it wasn't for a bad reason because it did advocate for disability rights. Anyway, again, we are very Team Bree here, and we look forward to hearing a response from Zach's lawyers, or not lawyers, not the lawyers, but Zach's Zach's team. We would like to hear back from Zach's team, and hopefully he takes us up on this, and we will talk. We'll have a conversation about it.
2 Zachs and a chicken nugget.
Yeah, 2 Zachs and a chicken nugget. On that note, we will see you all next week.
Bye.
Topics range from sports to the stars above, with Jackson, Spencer, and Michael's love. Chasing dreams on the radio waves, reminding us to live our days so brave. When the world gets serious, turn the dial for goofy wisdom and Michael's smile. Jackson's wit cut sharper than the wind. In the Windy City, they're your best friends. Windy City Joes, they got